A man who's not into hand washing or hand wringing. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. The choice been given a mandate to get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling friends. Love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian.
We're coming to your town. We'll help you party it down.
Dawson, isn't it we'll help you party down?
I actually looked up the lyrics to be sure before I said that, because it is one of the most misunderstood, possibly, lyrics in rock and roll. And the lyric page that I picked up, it said, "We'll help you party it down."
Really?
It does say that on the lyrics.
Your town will help you party.
I never heard that.
Yeah,
I never literally, I heard party down.
Yeah. You know what else I heard the other day? Here's something interesting. You know the Argent song, Hold Your Head Up?
I hate that song.
Hold your head up, whoa. You always thought it was whoa.
Yeah.
Hold your
A
head
lot of people saying it's woman.
Woman.
Rod
Yeah,
Argent said it in an interview.
I didn't think it was whoa. I didn't know what it was, but it was something.
Whoa.
I thought it was boy.
Whoa.
Whoa. All right. Let's see. Stuff to get into. I had a weird moment. I was home watching TV late last night and just landed on the channel, and Leave It to Beaver came on.
Oh, prescient.
And I was just looking at it.
It's a new era of the Adam Carolla show.
I can talk about this all day. I've seen every episode.
And it's weird because sitcoms were, like commercials, are kind of a slice of Americana. It's sort of where we're at or where we want you to go. And, Friends is very much different than Leave It to Beaver. But Leave It to Beaver was sort of the gold standard of this is where we're at, and the dad would be
Hugh Beaumont.
They would come home. It was funny. You'd come home and you'd get out of your jacket and tie and into a cardigan.
Mr. Rogers.
Kind of like a dress cardigan.
Yeah.
And
Your
then
house coat.
Yeah.
You'd sit down and a house coat is like a bathrobe.
A frock.
Oh, are they way different?
No, this is
A house.
I don't know the difference.
A house coat is
like a robe.
Is another name for a robe. I think
It's like a big flurry nightgown with buttons down the front.
Okay.
That's a house coat.
He would get into a cardigan and he would sit down and he would read the paper. And in this particular episode, Bud, whoever.
Larry Mondello? Lumpy?
No, not Lumpy. There's Beaver and I don't know his brother.
Tony Dow.
Anyway,
R.I.P.
He was going out on a date to meet the parents. Wally was going out, and his whole character was sort of he would just go he'd come home and they'd be the parents were both waiting. So how'd it go? And did you meet the family? And it's I don't know. And he'd go, how was it? Good. And how was meeting the family? Good. And how was your girlfriend? I guess it was good. He would just say I guess it was. And I was sort of looking at this character, and I was I don't really know that he's that well defined, other than he's just this guy who wants to get along and not really have conversations in a sitcom. It's kind of a weird conceit for a character. It didn't really have an angle or anything. It was I guess it was okay. And that was the running joke. And how was the food? It was okay, I guess. And then how was the day? Okay, I guess. And then Wally, come on. And he'd be okay, I guess. And then he'd go, can I go up to, can I leave now?
Yeah.
And he'd leave. And I was just looking at him going, man, it's a weird character. And then I got up this morning and he was dead.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think you killed him.
Tony Dow. And I remember I was thinking to myself, is he still alive? I wonder how old he is. I wonder what he looks like now. And I was just sitting there thinking that last night at 12:30 at night, and then this morning I get up and he's gone. I don't watch Leave It to Beaver that much. It was just sort of on when I turned the TV on, but I do think it's a good idea to study us, and you can go to a museum and see how we lived, or you can just turn on the TV and see how we lived.
And just doing the math, because this always kills me. That was, let's say, the mid-50s. The Beav is supposed to be, let's say, 10. Wally's 13 or 14. The parents look like they're in their mid-60s from our
They're
standards.
The adult, yes, we've talked about it. It's not the Real Housewives of Orange County with hair extensions and skinny jeans. It is
A fit and flare dress with a petticoat.
short hair.
Short hair.
Women did not. It was scandalous to wear your hair long after the age of 34.
Look like a streetwalker.
For a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, that was about it. Yeah. So. So we had certain rules, and it applied to everyone, and that's just how people rolled back then. So yeah, and he seemed like a 6-year-old guy.
He really did.
I mean, they should have been back then. People
You have
had
them in
kids in their early 20s.
Yeah, so they were supposed to be late 30s.
or mid 30s. I mean, if the Beeve was 10, then she should have been 33. But she was like an old aunt. Well, we talked about like Aunt B and stuff before. Anyway, the other thing that I keep getting stuck in my craw is everyone is talking about our governor, Gavin Newsom, making a bid for the presidency. And
God, what a coup this would be for you.
people are like,
Ever since video goes to slip through your fingers.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, is he going to run for president? And I'm assuming yes, but I'm also assuming yes because he says no.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he said no, I'm not running for president, then I'm assuming he's running for president. But I was thinking back to when I interviewed him all those years ago. And I played a longer version of this on stage, but I wasn't able to get into it with you guys. So the homelessness thing came up, and I forgot that he had told me that homelessness was his thing. That was his subject.
He sure has embraced it.
Yeah.
This is,
Let it flourish.
9
I was
years
gonna say,
ago.
let it grow.
Well, he said no one else cared about it, but he did.
Oh.
You were
And
kindred
then
spirits on that issue.
a decade ago, I then explained who homelessness were. He was still on. I think we've given up the theme of hardworking folks that just got put out.
Bad breaks.
We're now
One paycheck away from the streets.
Yeah, we're now again. You don't need to study any graphs or look at any statistics. You get in your car and you drive around,
go
and you
outside.
see clearly insane people walking in circles and defecating on the sidewalk, and you go, that doesn't feel like a mother 3 to me. But just a 1-minute clip with Gavin Newsom, maybe soon to be President Newsom, and his take on homelessness, and then how passionate he is about homelessness, and then we can figure out how effective he's been.
That was my issue, homelessness, and my passionate efforts
Yeah.
to deal with homeless.
I
That's
hate
an
those people.
issue that no one cares about in this
Yeah.
country. I care deeply.
Well, listen, the thing about homeless people is they're either junkies or they're crazy or they're both. This notion of like the guy's a hardworking, God-fearing family member who lost his job and now had to take to the streets is total and utter
Yeah,
bullshit.
but what about the picture of real homelessness, which is a poor
All right,
mom
hold on.
with 2 kids?
He's going to tell me about what it really
Yeah,
is.
you don't know.
I'm talking about people with mental disorders who are strung out on drugs. He, who's passionate about homeless, is going to explain to me what the real picture of homelessness.
All right.
The real
Total
picture.
and utter
Yeah, but what
bullshit.
Total and utter
Yeah, but what
bullshit.
about the picture of real homelessness, which is a poor mom with 2 kids with a husband who took off and left her, who's sitting there struggling on that minimum wage job, and all of a sudden now is out in the streets and sidewalks desperately trying to find some help, get her life back, can't get those kids into childcare.
I think that's what happened to
can't
Jewel.
afford them. That's the tough thing.
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
that's a picture of family homelessness in this country.
That's a postage stamp.
Yeah.
That's the picture. How would we? Let me ask this. I mean, I know I sound like insane people. How would we solve a problem if we cannot identify the problem?
What the problem
Or
is.
don't want to, clearly.
If the problem is the mother 3 who has a minimum wage job, whose husband left, and who's put out, we have a million services for that young gal.
Yeah.
We have shelters and outreach programs and Meals on Wheels. That person could just slide right into a shelter. Her and her kids get a whole bunch of whatever we pay for
There are
as
safety
taxpayers
nets erected.
for those people.
Right. Yes.
That is not the face. He's telling me the real face of. So in his estimation, there's a problem. He cares about it passionately. Nobody else cares about it. This is 10 years ago. He knows what the real problem is, except for he's completely misidentified the problem for some weird reason. I don't know why it became so politicized. There are these people. It's like if we politicize termites or something. It's like there's a kind of a termite, they're coming in and they're eating all. That's not the face of termites. It's like, yes, it is.
The face of termites are a beautiful ladybug.
Right. Why are we arguing about this? It's not a political thing.
Well, and my only question to him would be, where do you live and where do you go?
Right.
Where have you seen this?
And, if I may,
Go.
Gavin Newsom is, by all objective measures, a good politician. He's been elected the mayor of San Francisco, lieutenant governor of the state, governor of the state. He's in the running for president, perhaps. He is good at being a politician. This is the easiest win for a politician. Just acknowledge the problem, be compassionate, and say, yes, these people are addicts. They have mental issues. They need help. Here are some programs, or here's some forward-looking thing. It's the easiest win, but to keep going back to
deny that it's a problem.
It's not this. It's this much smaller thing. Is you're killing, you're hamstringing yourself.
Yes, and then also, how does this apply to other facets of governing, like shutting down beaches or schools or whatever? I mean, if you can't identify, if there's no cases of outdoor transmission, then why are you shutting the beaches down? I mean, there's a disconnect between whatever your retarded logic is for whatever retarded reasons you have, and then whatever you implement.
Well, and he's someone who, he comes from a wealthy family. I know he likes the optics of this state making money. And remember when he refused to even entertain the idea that Disney World was up and running safely?
Right.
Disneyland stays closed. We're like, but you like money in the state, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing it.
I guess they're paying either way.
Yeah.
Well, basically, if he runs for president, I essentially said yesterday on Fox, I said, look, we're taking a guy who manages a Chick-fil-A in Burbank, who's run it into the ground. It's caught fire a few times, health code violations, and the chicken sandwich costs twice as much as it does in the rest of the country. And then saying, we want to take this manager and have manage all the Chick-fil-A's nationwide. Yes, let's take a guy who's doing a horrible job of managing his state and put him in charge of all the states.
Oh, God. So because there was talk, I heard it on the news today, that even though Pence says he's not, he hasn't made anything clear, but he looks like he's given the right answers for a bid. Newsom v. Pence.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine?
That is some lightly toasted white bread.
The two whitest guys. I don't know if you can do that anymore.
Let me throw this question out to you. It's better. You have to think your way around this one, as would anyone, I imagine. But Trump was maybe not the most, I don't know, he wasn't the most dignified statesman, but a lot of people like what he did for the economy, or, the country made money, a 401k, stock market, whatever. California is sitting on an all-time record high budget surplus, right? We made just untold billions of dollars, and they don't even know how to spend it. What do you say to the people who are like, that seems like the flip side of the same coin?
I don't know. I imagine we'll squander it all on pensions, and we do.
Well,
we create
deal with reality in reality terms. We are rich,
right? But it's not coming out in the form of schools or potholes or anything. But
True.
we have a budget surplus now. What we do is we rely on these sort of booms here, like tech and things like that, pot and stuff like that. Then we get this, coffers get filled with the next thing. So the question is I just sort of go, why are all the businesses leaving? Why are they leaving? Why would they want to go? Or why would anyone want to leave anywhere? Why does a U-Haul cost $2,000 out of California and $200 back toward California? Somebody knows something and they're acting on it. I don't know the economics of it. I know We also pay a shitload in taxes here. I mean, we always talk about this place, there's no income tax. We pay like 14% or 13.7%.
Yeah, it's like, the old saying, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like there's surplus because we're getting shooken down more.
But that hasn't changed much, though, over the since Newsom's been governor, right? The last 10 years. Like, why now? Well, I don't know the economics either. I'm asking the question.
I don't know. I mean, having a surplus, I guess, is good, but if it doesn't translate into a transportation, light rail systems, better schools,
what's it for?
Cleaner streets, less homelessness, like I don't know, then it's just a surplus. But I know I'm not answering your question.
How long have we had the surplus? Do you know?
I thought it was as of the last fiscal year.
Okay,
that's been a big deal.
And we got a lot of COVID money,
well,
too.
that's what I was going to say. My conspiracy theory is we were handed that money through emergency relief, right?
No, we create a lot of wealth. I think what's happening is we have this chasm between abject poverty and insane wealth.
Indeed.
We have routinely houses in Malibu are over $100 million. There's many of them. There's some are over $200 million. And then we have people flopped in the streets. And I think what we're trying to do, we always talk about the middle class, is sort of work it back toward the middle. But I don't know. Someone will tweet me and explain it better than I can. Either way, that's Gavin Newsom's take on homelessness and what that's the subject he's passionate about, and that was 9 years ago. So here we are, but it also will tell you that whether you're talking about like COVID or whether you're talking about homelessness, you don't really need to listen to the experts. You got to kind of just drive around and look around, like. My neighborhood has tons of kids. My kids have tons of friends, and none of them have succumbed to COVID. None of the kids. No one's been dropped by COVID. So they can tell you how dangerous COVID is, but if no one and no one in your kid's world has been affected by it, then it's probably not to the size that they're describing it. I was yelling about this with Drew couple hours ago. And homelessness, it's the same thing. I've driven in every corner of this city, and I've never seen Gavin Newsom's unicorn of a mother of three trying to do her best out on the street. I do see crazed people fighting with crutches and who I'm assuming are mentally disabled or junkies. So that I've seen. The other thing about COVID that I was thinking about, was yelling about with Drew, which is I always picture it. Richard Roeper's coming on, so I always think about it. Like, let's look at it like a pandemic movie. All the people who've been telling us how dangerous it is for the last 2 years, whether it be the aforementioned Newsom or Garcetti or Barbara Ferrer, the health, whatever, LA City Council, teachers unions, every talking head on CNN and everyone who writes a column in the LA Times. How come none of them are dead? Shouldn't they be dead? Shouldn't some of them? I mean, maybe not Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon and Sanjay Gupta, but one of them.
Right.
Shouldn't somebody go, hey, we can't do Joy Reid's show today because she's dead? Because she's dead. And we can't have a city council meeting on masking because 2 of the city council members got COVID and they're dead. And we can't write a column in the LA Times about how dangerous COVID is for kids because the columnist died. Or the mayor died, or the governor died, or the regional supervisor died. Where are the dead people? Shouldn't I turn on CNN and just, why are all the anchors from 2 years ago still alive when we're in the middle of a fucking deadly pandemic? How come they're not dead?
That's good.
No one's dead. Where are you? All the people told me how deadly it was are not dead. How did that happen? How is this?
I can't explain it.
Bad COVID movie?
That's how you should avoid COVID. Get famous.
Yeah.
Get on TV.
Right.
No, you never die.
That's right. So just look around. You don't need to look at the graph. The person that was telling you not to go on the beach at Daytona Beach 2 years ago on CNN is still reporting about something else. So think about that. All right. We have an old picture. We also have, here's somebody tweeted me a warning on they had to get a new wooden handle for their sledgehammer. And we always talk about over-regulation, how insane it is in California. There's a sticker on the wooden handle.
Oh, boy.
For the axe.
Cancer and reproductive harm. www.p65warnings.ca.gov.
So like the lacquer they use, I assume?
That's the thing. All of those stickers always go on everything in California.
It's really mind-numbing. Like,
Yeah.
You don't even notice it now.
Yeah, every gas station has it on the pump. Everything.
Every pot for a plant, it's all on the bottom.
Well, back to my why isn't everyone on CNN dead theorem, which is how come people aren't just mid-swing with a sledgehammer just falling over?
My baby.
Or stories like what happened to Russ? Well, he tried to demo out a cinder block wall and he got one of those handles.
Oh, and it
I
hit
know
him
the
in the
rest.
head.
Yeah, so he's not with us anymore.
That old cliche.
Yeah, we
It's happening to everyone.
We put him down as a COVID death, but either way, it was the axe handle that got him.
Wow.
A clip. So I saw the movie Black Phone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's getting
with
good reviews.
Ethan Hawke?
Yes.
Yes. It was at 100%, and I think it's made its way down to the mid 80s or something.
Is it horror?
Yes, it's horror. It's genre's horror. It's also a time thing. It's like Denver, city outside of Denver, I guess, in the 70s.
I don't know anything about it. I've seen posters.
Well,
It's phone and it's black.
It's
Got it.
kind of it's 83 with the critics
Wow.
and 89 with the people. It's good. It's not great. It's just good. But it also, you forgot about the 70s and like how kids raised themselves and just got
Free range.
just got into
Latchkey.
fights, like school
Yep, we were
fights,
latchkey,
and it just kind of did their own thing and kind of looked out. The sisters looking out for the brother, and it was very like I was watching it with Sonny. It's like, oh, fight, it's a schoolyard fight, and one kid's beating the shit out of the other kid, and I'm like, yeah, that's how we used to roll. We get in a fight,
Like settled shit.
we had places, when I was in junior high, the tunnel that went under the freeway.
That's so dystopian.
I know.
Ours was
lot
the
of-
bike rack.
That's out here a lot in LA.
We had that tunnel that went under the freeway, and Ray was going to meet some ninth grader over there after school. Like it was.
Wait, ninth grader. So he was older
He
than
was in fifth grade.
Okay, that makes more sense.
No, his claim to fame is he would in the 7th grade beat up seniors.
Oh, because you guys had 7th, 8th, 9th together.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't have high school started
Wow.
in 10th, and these were sanctioned bouts. I do some announcing work. We had the scorekeepers over there. We're on the 10-point must system. And it was like, if everyone in the school knew the fight was going down, how come there wasn't
viewing.
any faculty or anybody from the school that would show up at the designated fight place? There
They
wasn't.
were too beleaguered. The school day was over as far as they were concerned.
They just stayed out of it. And there was just fights. So the movie...
Did that not ring true to Sonny because he has no concept of that?
Yes, no concept. Nobody puts their hands on anybody. Their
hate crime.
dad will sue the other family. So Black Phone is good. It's not great. It's just good. It's definitely worth a watch. But they did that thing, and I didn't think about it. But Sonny looked at me, and he did the thing that I hate in movies, but I hate it in commercials as well. They made that there was two central characters, a few central characters, but you had the brother, who was sort of the central character, and then his sister, and they had the kind of abusive dad, and the mom killed themselves, and they were like looking out for one another. And then there was the kid's love interest, the girl he had the crush on in the 7th grade, whatever he was in. But Sonny looked at me at some point and he goes, "Why did they make the two actresses look the same, the sister?" Because he'd get inside the class, and then the other girl with the dark hair would like lean over and go, "Hey, you're late," and then your first fault, "Oh, that's his sisters in the class," and then it's like not like
which character am I looking at?
Make their hair a different color, would you please?
Different length, something.
There's no body features because they're 12 per se, and they're the same person. They're not doppelgangers. It's just confusing enough. I've seen them in so many commercials where, is that the person or is that the other person that just said the thing? Just break them apart.
No, you're right. If I can look at both of these pictures and say they would both be in final casting for Anne Frank, then they're too similar looking.
You're very right. They both could have played Anne Frank.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so it's a good enough movie. I know you guys saw Nope.
Yeah,
we did.
Independently.
Not together, yes. Yeah.
Interested, and that's the Jordan Peele film?
Yeah, the newest Jordan Peele
movie. The third movie from Jordan Peele.
The Get Out, Us, and Nope. And I watched Us the night before as a refresher.
So Get Out, everyone loved Get Out.
Get Out was a triumph.
Get Out was nominated for Best Picture.
And then Us was kind of a letdown.
Extremely.
Us was a true horror movie in a horror movie sense. I know all of Brian's problems with it because it's everyone's problems with it. And I reread all these things and it said, if you're thinking, how did she do this and why couldn't she just do this? You're missing the point. It's an allegory. And I'm like, well, that's convenient.
Yeah, paint a picture next time.
So then Nope.
You're making a goddamn movie for people to follow.
Nope is not a horror movie.
Nope is a thriller.
Yeah.
It's a thriller. And is Jordan Peterson going? Peele, sorry, different guy. Jordan Peele, is he going down the M. Night Shyamalan highway?
I'll give my opinion.
Yeah.
I will say M. Night painted himself into a corner early on by insisting on having twists in many of his films, almost all of his films early on, and that was hindering his ability to make good movies. He was beholden to this twist expectation. I think Jordan Peele, has a similar thing where I think he thinks people expect him to have some kind of societal message in his movies.
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, this Nope could have been just a taut 90-minute thriller and we all would have been interested in it. But I feel like he's trying to make some points and some societal commentary that just... It's Emperor's New Clothes. It's just not there.
It's interesting. I kept kind of waiting for the movie to start an hour in because I was like, I was told this was a scary movie. And there are elements to it. There's a B plot that is so bone chilling. I wish they would have.
That should have been the main story.
Absolutely. It will haunt your dreams, but it was 5% of the movie.
Well, I think renowned movie critic Richard Roeper, who's going to join us post haste, may have a different take on this film. So we'll talk to him about that. He's also reviewed the documentary series The Last Movie Stars, which is Paul Newman, Joanne Woodward series. So let me hit Solo Stove, and then we'll bring our old friend Richard Roeper in. Solo Stove. The best moments happen around a roaring fire. I used mine on 4th of July, and let me tell you the dynamics of this thing, and you can go online and you can watch some videos of it. It works, man. And it's not through, levers and pulleys. It's just that they put vents in the side, it draws the air in, and the fire just burns that much hotter. It's a smokeless fire pit, and it's made of stainless steel. It's a serious piece, and it's very portable, and it comes in a trap. You can put it in a travel case, and it regulates airflow to burn more efficiently. Little bit of smoke, ton of fire, easy to light with just a few bits of starter. Lifetime warranty, 30-day free return policy. It's Solo Stove, right, Dawson?
Right now, you can get big discounts on all fire pits during Solo Stove's summer sale and use promo code Adam at solostove.com for an extra $10 off. That's solostove.com. Promo code Adam for $10 off on top of their incredible summer sale discounts.
All right, we'll talk to our good friend Richard Roeper right after this.
For Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
All the gin joints in all the town, in all the world, she was in mine.
If you said Casablanca,
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
You're correct. Now, back to the show.
Film critic extraordinaire Richard Roeper, an all-around good guy. Richard Roeper has joined us, I'm guessing from Chicago. Screen Time with Roe and Roeper. It's available. It's a podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Good to see you, Richard.
Good to see you, Adam and team. And yes, greetings from Chicago, guys.
Was it just popped in my head, but when they spun off Three's Company into the Roepers series, that must have been good days for you when you were 15.
Or brutal.
Or brutal.
Yeah, it was more like when people would say, oh, Roeper, like the Three's Company character, I would always just say, I don't know. I hear stupid people watch that show. I've never seen it, so I wouldn't know what you're talking about. And I just went with that for years.
So we were just talking about Nope. It didn't move Brian and Gina. I haven't seen it. And then we can get into The Last Movie Stars. And also I saw Black Phone. I don't know if you caught that one yet.
Yeah, I have. Let's talk a little bit about Nope. I heard what you guys said, and I hear where you're coming from. I think the M. Night Shyamalan comparisons are apt, but Shyamalan's first three films were great. And Jordan Peele, I believe he's actually starting a dialogue with his movies because it's Get Out, Us, Nope. Like they're all talking to each other.
Yeah.
What I liked about Nope was, first of all, it was shot with IMAX cameras and is meant to be seen on IMAX screens. It's a movie. It's a movie that, yeah, it does have some heavy-handed social commentary, but it also has a love of movies. There are references to everything from The Shining to Shyamalan's Signs to Ghostbusters to, certain TV shows from the 70s. I don't want to give all the pop culture references away. And you guys mentioned that side plot, which is about a 1990s television show, and the story that gets told kind of remind me of when Phoebe Cates tells the story in Gremlins about the Santa getting caught in the chimney and dying.
A little bit.
Exactly.
It's so dark.
It is.
It's so dark.
It is terrifying.
And horrific and blazingly original, I think. And I think he is also having fun. Again, we don't want to give too much away about what's up in the sky, but I think he's having fun with all these movies where they try every alien always looks like a giant insect, right? And talks with a deep voice like this. They all have the same Darth Vader voice. So I think he's having fun with those tropes as well.
Find Chris now. We'll buy you some time. You have to find Phoebe Cates explaining why she doesn't celebrate Christmas. Watch. Here's what they could have done. I'm no screenwriter, but I've written a few in my day. You ready?
Yeah.
You ask me, I'll be Phoebe Cates, so we don't stop the movie and bum everyone else.
Why don't you celebrate Christmas?
We're Jews. Anyway, what's Kazoo doing over there? Don't get him wet. All right. We could have moved on.
Yeah.
No.
Stop down.
No, we had to stop down and explain why Phoebe Cates did not like Christmas.
But to your point about Nope, after thinking about it and talking about it with my husband and reading about it, I thought, okay, I get it. I get that, and tell me if you agree that it's kind of a commentary on how when society gets so desensitized of, big events or trauma and then
the predator theme comes back.
And tries to profit off of it, you get burned.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely that, kind of thing, because they talk about Keke Palmer, I think, is great.
She's
playing
great.
the sister,
Yes.
who's kind of this free spirit. And she's like, we're going to get rich off of this.
Yeah.
That's the first. And they get the tech guy to come out there and put all the cameras up and everything. They're not worried about, hey, this could be a threat to humanity,
right, or
this could be the end of days. They're like, we're going to get that Oprah moment, as they call it, and make $1 million,
right.
and that's just the reality of it. But, I think they even had a lot of fun with that, with conspiracy theorists who turn out to be right and things like that. So I do think it's a movie that would resonate if you watch it again 2 or 3 years from now, as opposed to a lot of the films I sit through that I never will want to watch again.
Can let's bring everyone to a number. Let's just say it's Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes has it at.
I can tell
High-ish,
you.
yeah.
But what would you?
It's 83 on Rotten Tomatoes. 83-ish.
And then where are the people? I think
they're like
that's
71.
the question. And where would you guys have it? Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
I was saying Brian was right.
Oh, okay.
I think 71 is definitely closer than 83.
Where would you put
Much
it
like M. Night Shyamalan, Jordan Peele is a director with talent. He has individual moments in this movie. It doesn't come together for me ever right in the middle at 49, 51, something like that.
Where would you put it, Roeper?
Oh, I've got it in the 90 percentile, and I think it becomes a double-edged sword when you become a director who I like to just call like an event director, where their movies become events. Because some of Shyamalan's lesser films, if we thought the director was an unknown 27-year-old, we'd be like, wow. But so many of the reviews say, well, it's not Unbreakable, it's not The Sixth Sense, it's not this or that, and that happens to all directors who have a kind of a unique style. Where if they don't hit a home run, people are disappointed because their expectations are so high.
I find myself just waiting for the next Quentin Tarantino movie.
Well, we're looking at two Tarantino posters over the shoulder of Richard Roeper. That's Once Upon a Time back there, if I'm not mistaken, and that's Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
Yeah. Is he he's the standard for me right now. I used to feel that way 20 some odd years ago about Oliver Stone. I'd kind of wait for an Oliver Stone movie, and then he sort of syphilis ate his brain or something. I don't know. Maybe it was Agent Orange. I don't know, but something happened to Stone, and now I find myself just hanging around waiting for another Tarantino movie to come out.
I agree, and Pulp Fiction is the easy pick as his greatest film, but I keep watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again and again and appreciating something. And I know, Adam, you'll dig this, and you do, I'm sure. But all the pop culture references there, like the radio ads are real radio ads from that time, and the billboards and the references to obscure films like The Illustrated Man, the Ray Bradbury movie. And it's just so layered. And what you see with Tarantino, and you definitely see with Jordan Peele, is their love of movies.
Yeah.
They just love everything about the richness of cinema.
Well, I grew up in L.A., so it's like, for me, he's driving along the freeway and the AD-Do plumbing truck passes him. And like, I remember the commercial, the guy going, AD-Do heating and plumbing. And like, there's that truck. Like, and people would say, well, I used to kind of say this when I was a carpenter, they'd go, why do you need to do this little thing and that little thing? Wouldn't it be easier, faster, cheaper? And I'd go, yeah, but once you get to about 25 little things, it adds up. Mm-hmm. Like when you walk into the room, you can tell a room that's done well with all the little things that start to accumulate. And I feel that's definitely a Tarantino trait. Yes, Gina.
Great point. That's like when I'm watching a film, I have, I forgive certain continuity errors, or if a song from 1972 is in a movie set in 1971. But as Adam just said, if it happens 14 times in a movie, then you're like, what? They didn't put the care into this. This is lazy, sloppy screenwriting and filmmaking.
Where do you have Black Phone? Tell us about that.
I love the Black Phone. I like the fact that it's set in a time period where, you're using the phones on the wall. In fact, it's set right around the time that the first Halloween movie was coming out. And I think it's an homage to those late 70s horror films. And Ethan Hawke playing, we're going to talk about a little bit as a director, but playing the grabber, this horrific monster who snatches kids off the streets and then imprisons them. And he's brilliant in it. And it's kind of a smaller role because it's really about the kids. But I love the way that film kind of uses the techniques, everything from the camera work to the special effects that are actually more of the time that it's set in than modern day.
It also shows you like how weird and gritty the 70s were. Like, it was just nobody wore a helmet. People settled things with their fists. Parents smacked their kids. It was like
simpler times.
Just a kind of weird, funky, semi-depressing, just kind of, I don't call it dark, but with all the stuff they're talking about now, all the Greta Thunbergs of the world and the Al Gores, it was going plenty strong in the 70s. We just called it ecology, but the world was ending. Yeah. Fossil fuels were going. The Soviets were sending nukes over. Like, it was so weird, bad kind of bummer of an era, and then we got into the late 70s and we're like, fuck it, let's do coke and crank up the Donna Summers and get the fucking mirror ball. Someone invented a mirror ball. We're like, all right, fuck Vietnam.
Spandex.
We're getting down. So
it was definitely a dark and strange time, and I think that movie captures all of that.
Just before we leap off of horror, because it's really not my genre, but I'm finding myself sort of having more fun watching it. Watched Seven again the other night. Watched Annihilation, Ex Machina the other night. I saw a trailer for something that I can find no information on, and I'm wondering if you have any inside info on Barbarian.
No.
Have you seen that trailer yet? I don't know if you saw it.
No.
Well, it looks really, really cool.
One of the things I actually have tried to do as a critic is avoid hype in trailers as much as I can.
Good
and
luck.
one of the great things about getting to see the movies in it, well, you know, it's not easy, but one of the great advantages of getting to see the movies in advance is when they set up screenings for me, there are no trailers or no commercials. The movie just starts.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can, in a lot of cases, like Black Phone, I'm going to know a little bit about it, but I really didn't know that much about it, which is the best way to see a movie. And I know, you're right, almost impossible in this day and age.
Yeah. So, well, back to Tarantino, I saw Reservoir Dogs it was walking over to the movie theater. I had no idea what it was.
This isn't about dogs.
And then, or reservoirs. and then Pulp Fiction was a screening set up for K-Rock, I think. And me and Jimmy and Kevin and Bean just went to this little theater off of Sunset Boulevard, like a little screening room. Like, hey, after, you know, Richard with radio. It's like, all right, we finish at 10 in the morning. We got the screening at noon. We're going to eat lunch and we're going to go over there. We just sat down like a free movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is about. And, you know, obviously we're blown away.
Well, to piggyback on both of your comments from earlier, what separates the good directors from great and the great from the greatest, Tarantino burst out of the gates with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and maybe stumbled a bit with Jackie Brown. It's debatable, but my point is he found his way and is one of the greatest directors in the history of cinema, certainly the modern history of cinema, whereas a guy like M. Night Shyamalan maybe is a little more up and down. He has his moments and then he doesn't, and Jordan Peele will find out.
We have the clip from Gremlins, by the way, Rich,
great.
which I've cited many times. But it's worth a look and a listen as to why this is a comedy, it's sort of sci-fi comedy.
Yeah, like a fun
tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, fun
right.
black comedy.
We're going to find out why Phoebe Cates doesn't like Christmas.
This bitch is retired from acting. Get her back on the screen.
That's unreal.
I put it to the three of you that in 1984 for Best Supporting Actress they could have played that clip at the Academy Awards.
Yes,
Phoebe Cates should have been nominated. And they would have showed that clip right there.
Also, first off, not an appropriate response from her boyfriend, which should have been, get the fuck out of here.
Are you shitting me?
Are you fucking First off, I used to do a little repointing work on bricks. A fireplace is not just one big opening. It has a flue. It has a flue and a fire shelf at the bottom. You can barely get your hand up there if you try to go arms loaded with presents. Number one, spark arrestor on the top. I don't know how he got through that. I'm calling bullshit. But then imagine being with this person full time. Like at some point you'd go, hey, I'm going to get a chocolate bunny. Easter's coming up.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit, no.
I don't.
Okay, no, it's fine. Don't tell me why. No, I don't want to know.
I was 10 years old.
I don't. I
thought my
fuck
mother
Easter.
was coming
I'm
home
not
with my
celebrating
basket.
Easter.
She said she was going to hurry home.
I
as
don't
fast
want to
as she
hear about
could.
what happened on Easter.
There was a fiery car
Fuck
wreck.
it. I'm moving on to Arbor Day.
Oh, I can't.
What
celebrate.
happened on Arbor Day?
Oh, we were wandering through the forest.
Oh, shit.
I was 11 years old with my new
St.
foster
Patrick's
parent.
Day
No,
is-
I don't celebrate St.
Oh,
Patrick's Day.
fuck.
come
What
on.
are you, Jehovah's Witness?
Oh, I don't interact with Jehovah's Witnesses. I was
Fuck.
kidnapped by.
Okay. The 4th of July.
Oh God, no!
Oh, fuck. We can't
There was an
celebrate.
explosion.
Oh, God damn it. We can't celebrate anything.
Let's play this dad's plan out for a second. It would have gone one of two ways. One, he successfully navigates the fireplace or the chimney, gets down the fireplace when everyone's asleep,
and nobody
thus
sees it.
nullifying
I always
the
ask
surprise.
that.
Number two, he comes down once they all wake up and surprises them like, "Hey, it's Santa!" It's like, okay, it's very clearly you, Dad.
Also, I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but
Oh, we're
people
there.
don't own Santa suits. They rent them. Those fireplaces are filled with creosote. It's like this weird sap, resin, burn, black
Really?
stuff. Oh, yeah. They have, it's a fire hazard, which
Makes
is
sense.
if you don't clean your fire flue out every, 5 years, it could burst into flames if a spark goes up there.
Oh shit!
I got news from Mike Bishop.
You would not get your deposit back on the Santa outfit if you ran it through that filthy
There's a lot of
chimney.
holes in this
A lot
story.
of holes. A lot of holes.
Yeah, we're going to get the Netflix true crime series where it turns out that mom staged it. It was a murder.
Yes.
And
This
then
is
shoved
Dateline.
him up the fireplace.
Yes.
But Brian is 100% right. I've said it many times. There's a math. Either everyone's asleep and you do this needlessly,
Needlessly elaborate.
or they're down there to enjoy it.
And you're
they
like,
go,
hey, surprise!
Hey,
You're like,
Dad.
Dad?
Yeah. Anyway.
Can I ask Richard a question as long
Yes.
as we have him on? Richard, what has been, I have a choice. I'm wondering if yours is the same as mine or close to it. Your favorite movie you've seen so far this year?
I don't know. I don't really start looking at the whole year until the end of the year. So, I mean, there's been some good stuff out there. I don't have a choice yet for best of the year.
My favorite so far this year, I don't know, this may not be Oscar material, the one I enjoyed the most and more importantly admired the most was Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was just so original and so fun and so kinetic and really made me happy that a movie like that was in the world.
I agree, except for it
I
wouldn't
couldn't agree
end.
more. It's,
I loved it, but it would
very
not
original.
end. Yeah, but super original, and I don't want to sound like Ted Nugent, but Top Gun was the funnest.
I
For
agree.
me.
Top Gun was fun.
All right, so Richard,
That was a blast. It was
awesome.
The docuseries, 6-part series, available now on HBO, The Last Movie Stars. Have you watched all 6? Have they put them all out at once?
I have.
And
Yeah, I've seen
what's
all
the
6.
format of this?
It's really cool because we were just talking about Ethan Hawke, and he's the director of this. So the setup is that later in his life, Paul Newman was working on this huge autobiography, warts and all. And he was actually collaborating with Stuart Stern, who was the screenwriter for Rebel Without a Cause.
Wow.
And they interviewed Newman, Joanne Woodward, Paul's first wife, his adult children, and all these directors that work with them, compiled all these tapes. And then Paul Newman decided, you know what, I don't want to do this. I've got other things. I don't want to make this, I don't want to go publicize this book that's all about me. So he put the kibosh on the project. And later on, one of his daughters found the tapes, and they had all been kind of destroyed or were beyond salvaging, but they had the transcripts of all the interviews. So Ethan Hawke goes through all the interviews, and then he enlists the help of all these great actors to read excerpts from the interviews. So George Clooney is the voice of Paul Newman. Laura Linney is the voice of Joanne Woodward. Vincent D'Onofrio, Billy Crudup. And what I like about this, guys, is we don't see these actors. We just hear their voices, and we see all these amazing archival footage. So we stop thinking that that's George Clooney doing Paul Newman. He's just reciting what Paul Newman said in a kind of interview style. And it's just incredible. It's a lot of great insights. It's warts and all. There's a lot of talk about his fairy tale 50-year marriage to Joanne Woodward, but they started as a couple for about 4 years while he was still married and had 3 children from his previous marriage, and that was very tough on his first wife. And also Joanne Woodward, who for a while was considered probably a better actor than Paul Newman, a better method actor. She won the Academy Award. She was doing all these great performances. And then she put her career on hold to raise the 3 stepchildren and their 3 children while Paul Newman became the biggest star in the world. And it's really fascinating to see, the ascendancy of Paul Newman and be reminded of all these amazing performances he gave.
Any car racing crap in there so I can enjoy myself?
I think they feel like a movie from about 2015 really covered that, a documentary.
You can't best it while you try.
I'll Google it.
Winning, yes, the racing life of Paul Newman.
So they do touch on it, but that's just to whet folks' appetites to see Winning.
So it's very enjoyable.
It's amazing. When you think about what Paul Newman did, from The Hustler and HUD, and then Butch Cassidy and The Sting, all these amazing performances. And my favorite performance that he ever gave was in a movie called The Verdict that Sidney Lumet did, a little bit later in his career, where he was challenged to act, because this was like, you're playing yourself in this movie. You're playing this guy who drinks too much and is too selfish, but has this, great heart of a lion. And Newman, I think, gave just a brilliant performance. David Mamet wrote the screenplay for that. If people haven't seen The Verdict, it's incredible.
Oh, Mamet, yeah.
It's also interesting because, when I think of Paul Newman or Robert Redford, and you think like, oh, yeah, good for them. But you don't forget, like, they were white hot, blazing hot, scorching sex symbols. When you see those old pictures and those old movies, you're like, damn, I get it now. Like George Clooney.
That's a great point.
There's like George Clooney is like, compared to like Paul Newman in his prime.
Yeah, insanely good. And, I think it worked against him early in his career, like it kind of did with Brad Pitt, where they don't get taken seriously until they hit about 50, where you realize how great the craft was. But, think about those days, too, when we didn't have TikTok stars and all that other crap. So if you were a movie star, it was insane, the amount of fame. And, you see this footage and the amount of paparazzi following Paul Newman everywhere he went for 20 years. And then, of course, there's this whole other chapter in his life where he's like, I'm going to make some salad dressing and some popcorn. And it's going to end up making about $500 million, and it's all going to go to charity.
Right. There's another guy, if I may, a good-looking guy, wasn't taken seriously as an actor early in his career, speaking of this project. Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is really coming to his own as a respected actor. But early on, he was Ethan Hawke.
He was a pretty boy.
He was cool name, cool face, all that stuff. He's a really good actor.
He was in that Generation X type stuff, with reality bites and movies like that, where you almost wanted to slap him.
Yes.
And he is so good. And what I love about it too, about this film, is he's got this huge enthusiasm for old Hollywood and this great respect. And it's sort of like when you hear an athlete who actually knows about the history of baseball or football and pays respect to that, instead of just saying, well, I've invented this sport. So seeing his enthusiasm for the acting and for just the legacy of Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward is really cool.
Is each episode an hour, or do they vary in length? Or
about an hour, and it's pretty chronological. A lot of these documentaries now, everybody wants to slip back and forth along the timeline, and then they bring in dramatic recreations. This is very straightforward. It's like, here's what happened in the 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way up until the end. And another great thing is when he shows a clip from a movie, we get 3 minutes of Cool Hand Luke instead of 12 seconds like we do in a lot of these documentaries.
Yeah. Richard, thank you for joining us. The podcast is called Screen Time with Roe and Roeper. It's available wherever you listen to finer podcasts. I'll see you soon, my friend. Hopefully in the flesh. We'll get out to Chicago, or you come out to L.A.
It's a deal. Great talking to you as always. Thanks, guys.
Richard Roeper. All right. Let's see. I got Concrete here, which is also in my belly and in my glass here. Concrete, your body makes about half the creatine it needs. The other half comes from your diet, but most American diets are low in creatine-rich foods. Concrete patented creatine. HCl is the favorite creatine of elite, well-informed athletes. The number one bioavailable creatine and the only microdosing creatine, just one small scoop per 100 pounds. So the container comes with a little scoop in it. And if you're 200, you put in 2 scoops. You do the math. Creatine is required for functional energy in every cell. And actually, stuff tastes good as well. Your brain uses about 20% of the creatine in your body. So it's important to think straight. Immune cells need it to protect you. Heart cells need it to pump. Lung cells need it to breathe. It's concrete, right, Dawson?
Take control of your health, both body and mind. Build a better you with Concrete. Register now at con-crete.com/podcast. That's con-cret.com/podcast for a chance to win a $500 Walmart Visa gift card. Available now online and in-store Walmart. Concrete is truly life-changing and performance-enhancing.
All right.
I have some breaking news. Literally just this second. Very, very, very good news for the actor Tony Dow and the people who care about him. From the Washington Post, actor Tony Dow is still alive. Yeah. His family says his death was erroneously posted on Facebook page and confirmed by his manager, but the family says he's doing well.
Oh, good.
Oh, you brought him back to life by watching the show.
I thought I put a hex on him.
The manager better get fired.
We'll see if that's true.
All right. Well, very much alive. Bill Bellamy is in studio right after this.
All right. So I'm coming out of the drugstore. This is what I love about Jamaican dudes. Jamaican dudes never try to be funny. They just say real stuff, right? So I'm coming out of the drugstore. My man is like, "Excuse me, brother. What's your name? What's your name?" I said, "Bill Bellamy." "No. I thought you were Will Smith." I said, "Nah, Bill Bellamy, no disrespect, brother. I know your face. Let me think, man. Let me think. Give me a minute to think." I'm standing there while he think. He trying to figure out who I am. Then, Jesus Christ, if I can just think. I seen your movie, How to Be a Player. That's the movie I remember your face. I said, yeah, How to Be a Player. He said, man, what brings you to New York City? I said, I'm doing a show tonight at Gotham. He said, man, I wish I had known. But how are you? I said, I'm good, bro. He said, man, do you have children? I said, yeah, I got 2 kids. He said, you know what, brother, that's a good team. A man need kids for balance. I said, cool. I said, how many kids you got? He said, I got 6, brother. Yeah, man, I got 6 children, and I gave them all the perfect gift, their own mother.
Bill Bellamy on the Adam Carolla Show.
Bill Bellamy in studio. Special I Want My Life Back's available now on Amazon Prime. Good to see you, Bill. It's been a while.
I know, man. I forgot about that joke. I like that joke. Their own mother. How you been?
I'm good, man.
Can I turn my mic up so I can?
Oh yeah, we'll turn your headphones up a little bit. Bill,
there you go.
We were talking about, actually, it's funny, we were just talking about Oliver Stone and Any Given Sunday, which is an Oliver Stone movie, which I enjoyed a lot, although, it had some holes in it, but it was
just
very
a few,
rewatchable.
just a few. A lot of drugs.
Very enjoyable.
Yes.
And also, I figured out that Lawrence Taylor can act.
Yeah,
he acted.
Wasn't he actually good?
He was good.
Yes. He brought a very real quality to it because obviously he lived that kind of life for real. And
yes.
If I remember correctly, I think we were getting him fresh out of rehab at that time, and he came right in and started knocking the movie out.
So you started young, like going to clubs, doing stand-up. Were you in high school?
No, I started my first kind of like gig, I want to say, was on the college campus. Where it was not really real. We had those little crazy coffee houses. I know you remember the little coffee houses where you do a little bullshit show like in the cafeteria or in the student center.
The Union.
The Union, So those don't count. But my first kind of like a show where you went to the comedy club was in New York.
And is that where you hail from?
I'm from New Jersey. I'm New Jersey. So I would come over to the city because there was only 2 comedy clubs in Jersey. We had Rascals. I don't know if you ever played Rascals.
No.
It used to be in a place called West Orange. And that was a small club. I can't think of the name of that one. But New York had Catch a Rising Star. They had the Improvs. They had Caroline's,
right.
And then they had the Boston Comedy Club. So there was these little holes in the walls that you could go and do like 5 to 8 minutes. And they're like, next! And if you got a weekend, you was balling. I remember my first weekend, but the first weekend I ever got, Louis Ferranda gave me a weekend. He was like,
Ferranda.
Louis Ferranda, I always call him my godfather in the comedy game because he was always running Caroline. Caroline's on Broadway, but back then it was something else before he went to Caroline's. And he was like, Bellamy, kid, you're a star. It was almost like a movie.
You're
gonna make it, kid.
Thinking about it, there's a lot of docs about comedians, and I was just watching the George Carlin one a couple of months ago. Judd Apatow, I think, did that one. And they're always enjoyable, but somebody's got to make a doc about club owners because they have seen it all.
And they're characters, bro.
They're all characters, and they've been there forever, and they don't really age out. It's not like some of the comedians that catch fire and then cool down.
No,
or
they
OD
stay there.
or
They
whatever.
don't move.
They don't move.
They lock in. They lock into their business.
And their stories have to start with, the Rodney Dangerfield or back further, George Carlin or
Sam Kinison.
Yeah, and
they probably saw so many people, bro. Depending if you live as long as the comedians live, right? I remember my first mob show. Like I knew I was doing a show for the mob. I was in Staten Island at Wise Guys, and the guy, the one that he talks like this, he goes, "Hey kid, let me talk to you for a second here. I'm gonna give you your money. We're gonna give you your food, whatever you want. We got good. We got bacala. We got We got the best mozzarella. What you like Italian food? And just guess what? That's all you getting here." He said, "No bad language."
Oh.
It's Tony's birthday. He's there with his wife And unfortunately, if you do use bad words, things can happen.
Oh my God.
That's now
That's a
enjoy your
warning.
show.
Go have fun out
Now
there.
enjoy your show. I'm walking around with a little wetness in my drawers. I'm like, you know what? I don't necessarily want to say no bad words right here.
I know something came up was like in the news recently about your father-in-law and your father like died in the same month, essentially.
Absolutely. It was crazy. What's the odds, bro? It was just horrible. And,
Within what, weeks, days?
13 days?
Of each other. And then a situation came out of that?
Yeah. Well, I really didn't want it to become public because it was obviously, very, very personal. But the nuts and bolts of it was that my father-in-law passed first. We were trying to deal with that and schedule that. Then my dad passed, and the issue at hand was back-to-back memorials, which I think is just crucially rough for anybody. One memorial, one death is enough, but two on top of each other to me was just too much. And so I tried to, legally prevent it from being like that. And then, once you file like an injunction, I didn't know it was public record, and TMZ jumped all over it and it was over.
So your sister planned the one for your dad that was on the same time? It was
going to be literally 4 or 5 days apart. Like just go take the same suit, go to that one, then go. And I was saying, being that they were memorials, I just in thought was saying it would be better to just space it so you don't have to be compressed with anguish. That was just my thought about it. But I guess I was the only person that felt like that.
So how does one legally go about this?
What's that now?
How do you get an injunction?
Well, you can file an injunction. You just have to plead your case to the court. And then the court has to decide what they think, is the right situation.
And then once you file, it becomes public record, and then TMZ picks it up.
So TMZ, I didn't know TMZ. If you file anything, you better file it under another name.
Your LLC or something.
I wasn't even thinking about none of that stuff. And TMZ was like, oh, Bill Bellamy's doing, how they do. But the good thing was they called me and asked me, what was going on, because they could have just went left with it, but they didn't, which I appreciate it.
Did it work out in a way you were satisfied with, or
no? I mean, I have to, now I'm doing my own memorial for my dad, but I just wish that we could have done it together. Ideally, I wanted me and my family all to be together, everybody, not just like something that took away from my dad's.
Well, there's nothing like a death or some sort of family tragedy that makes everybody go their separate ways.
Why does everybody do that? Like, I would think, here's the sadness. I mean, you brought it up, so we might as well talk about it, because I'm sure somebody else is going through this. It's that the sadness about grief is everyone displays their feelings differently. And when there's things like personal feelings involved, people latch onto that, and people start saying stuff that you just never heard before. And then if there's stuff to be like separated, people want that. That's mine. Like it's unbelievable, bro. Have your stuff in order, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody that's listening, just have it in order.
Have your stuff in order, or do what my family does, which is have no stuff.
Nothing to fight over.
Two roads. Me and my sister can argue over a throw pillow.
Ultimately, you're in the same place.
Like a potted plant.
You'd be taking the flugelhorn back.
Right. Who's getting the dog, right?
Right.
Yeah, we didn't. My family doesn't have any possessions, so there's nothing to scrap over.
Well, that's good. That's good in certain ways.
It's awesome,
but it's still,
especially when you're young.
Yeah, it is perfectly awesome, because you don't have to go through the fighting. But,
no stuff.
But the thing about grief, though, too, that I just said, wow, man, once I can get on my feet about it, I got to find a way to write jokes about grief, because grief is actually kind of funny in a weird way, because people just start spazzing.
Well, you and your dad were close.
Very much.
Was he have a sense of humor? Did he nurture your sense of humor? Did he support you?
Me and my dad were really, and my mom actually. My mom was funny too, but my dad was just probably one of the nicest kind of fun-loving kind of guys. You know what I'm saying? Very, very down-to-earth cat. And he never saw anything that he couldn't find a happy spot in it. Be like, Daddy, we got 4 flat tires. Well, they got tire stores.
That's right.
You know,
The spares got
kind of guy. You know, let's get another tire. You just ain't nothing wrong with you.
Right.
I do not think people understand the importance of that as a parent. So I had a bummer family. Just everything was a bummer. Talking about cars, like I said, told the story before, but at some point I figured out that my friend who lived in Van Nuys and we lived in North Hollywood, that his house was about 6 miles from my house. And I also figured out that my mom's VW station wagon got 30 miles to the gallon and gas was like 71 cents a gallon. So I was like, Mom, you could give me a ride to Teddy's house and it would only cost you about 25 cents.
That's it.
And she goes, every time you start the car, it costs money. Every time. Belts, oil, wear and tear. And I was like,
my God.
She was such a bummer. And my family's like a bummer family.
Right.
And you don't realize that it's infectious both ways. Like people always go, that guy's laugh is infectious. Yeah, that bitch's bummerness is infectious too. I'm thinking about killing myself. I'm 9 over here.
Yeah.
So everything's infectious. Infection is a two-way goddamn street.
Yes, it
and
is.
your laughter and your dad's laughter and his positivity and his outlook, infectious. Being a bummer, also infectious in a bad way.
You got to make a choice. Like growing up in a situation like that, I can relate to because, you know, I came from a poor family as well. It's like you have to decide very early how you going to let that information affect you. Mm-hmm. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like if your dad or your mom or somebody was an alcoholic and they was drunk all the time, are you going to let that reality make you become an alcoholic? Because it could happen very well. You might do what you see. Or are you going to be like, well, you know what? I don't want to rely on that. I'm going to do this. And so that's how I became successful. To me was that seeing what not having was, I was like, I want to see what the flip side of that is. Because I'm like, damn, this apartment ain't that big.
No, I think there's I don't think people give that enough credence that everyone goes, well, you know, the dad smokes, or the son was a smoker, and the dad was poor, and so the son. It's like I did the same thing. I was like, hold on, you don't have enough money to start your piece of shit car and drive it up the street, and you're 45 years old. I'm not going this.
I'm
route.
not doing that. That's the same. Bro, I told you we a brother from another mother, right? He's the A,
nice
I'm the
if it
B.
was the same.
I know, right? But no, seriously.
I mean,
like for
me.
instance, like. You have a love for cars, right? Mm-hmm. I have a love for cars. That's another thing we bonded on. And my first car was a bummer car, like straight bummer car, hole in the floor. Like in the wintertime, your leg had to put a blanket over it because it was a hole. Mm-hmm. The rust had rotted through. It was a 68 Ford Falcon wagon.
A wagon.
Oh, wow.
And it only cost my parents $150. Like, if you could buy a child anything, don't let it be $150.
A car, yeah.
Not a car. Like shoes, maybe a jacket, but a whole car, if it's only $150 and it's a whole car, there can't be an upside.
People forget my parents' cars were $300.
Yeah.
$107. My sister's car she had a Dodge Dart. I tried to take to Mexico. I blew it up about halfway to Mexico.
Oh, no oil in it.
I junked it, and I came home with $40.
They gave you $40 for it?
$40, but she probably paid $100.
Yeah.
We had a whole run of cars that were well under $1,000 and many under $500.
And they was somewhat working. There's always something working. There's something always not working.
It's a death trap, it sounds like.
Listen, my car every other week, the antifreeze.
Yes.
All you could smell was antifreeze and brake.
Yeah.
The brakes or something. It was just always a smell.
Yeah. I don't think people.
It was
certainly
the bummer cars, the worst.
Certainly, kids. And when I say kids, I just mean like young people that do not understand the concept of a car not working.
No.
Also,
they fix cars though. That's another thing. They got better with time with cars.
Oh,
like
yeah,
now
they
you can
work.
get a used car that's actually decent.
Right.
but they've eliminated one key component of my youth and early working days, blaming the car. You could call into work at any time and just
my
go,
car
went
broke down.
down, it's dead,
Yeah.
not
Nothing I
working.
could do.
Could you imagine just that excuse in 2022?
You can't say that. Be like, why didn't you get in an Uber?
And bullshit, your Prius that's 2 years old is not working. You know what I mean?
wouldn't charge.
And like we talked about before, with all of our cars, they don't want you touching them. There are plastic covers that are bolted down. Like this is not for you to wrench on.
That was my dad's go-to. He was a self-made mechanic, right? And this is hilarious. I do a joke about this, right? My dad was basically right up there with Pep Boys, but he didn't go to the tool school. He didn't go to like the Fry or mechanic school. My dad was self-taught bad boy. Bad boy, change a motor, change a transmission, change spark plugs, put a header in there, take it out. He had a hot rod. My dad was Mr. Mechanic until about, I'm going to say 89. When the catalytic converter came in.
Yeah.
And I never forget my dad. I had a 92 Acura Legend, brought it cash.
Wow.
Brand new money. This is when I said I'm never driving a used car again. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So when the Acura Legend had first came out in 92, I was one of the first people in New Jersey to have it because I ordered it from the car show. Boom. So cut to, it was a coupe. And my first day, my daddy said, "Man, let me look at that engine, boy." He lift up the hood. He said, "I can't do nothing with this." He said, "They got it tight under there. Boy, these Japanese, boy, they don't play."
Yeah, now you got to be a computer
Because you
nerd.
got to go to computer school.
Yeah.
There's a plug for the computer to read the stuff on the car. My dad was shook. He was like, "Whoa, now when they start doing this with the computer." Man, I remember I just worked on a car the other day. It was an 80, a Chevelle. You know,
Yeah.
He had to go backwards. All his jobs start ending, like all his little side jobs. Like anybody that had a car that was a 91 and up, my dad was, "Oh, I can't do nothing with that."
Right.
But if it was a 89, bring it by.
I had this weird thing with my dad, who wasn't a mechanic at all, but he had the same thing. He pulled a newish Audi 3 or something into my driveway about 10 years ago, and he's like, "I want to check the oil, but I can't find the dipstick." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of the way, old man. Give me that. Pop the hood. Let the maestro take over." And they like pop the hood, and I was like, "The dipstick, it's always on the side by the pan. Where's the dipstick? Why is there a dipstick on this car?" I was calling him an idiot walking all the way down to the car, but you can't find your own dipstick. No dipstick.
No dipstick. They got rid of it, man. It's funny how that we can laugh about this, but that's technology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's innovation, right? You know, like I just saw the other day, I was in Pittsburgh and I left my wallet in the car. And so I called the Uber driver to come back and get me. He said, "Mr. Bellamy, I can't come back right now. I'm charging my car." Because he picked me up in a Tesla.
Yeah.
And I was like, ain't that crazy that he literally can't go nowhere because he ran out of energy?
He was bullshitting. He was charging your car.
You heard him wrong.
I'm charging your car.
I'm buying edibles right now. Yes, Mr. Bellamy. Yes.
Yeah, this thing has no limit.
So what do you, I know you get out, you said you were out before the mics heat up. You went out to Pahrump and you went out to that track that they have.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, did you ever go out to the raceway or ever had an opportunity?
I went to the racetrack in Pahrump. So what they have is it's a new kind of cool thing for guys that are really into cars. They have one in Palm Springs. I think it's called Thermal. There's one in Pahrump. They have these like cool executive race course.
It's so dope.
So you buy like a condo and a garage, and you keep your sports car, race car, whatever you want at the place, and then you show up for the weekend and you stay in your condo like above your garage.
It's so dope.
And then you go down and turn some hot laps, and then you go into the clubhouse and have an Arnold
should go in on
Palmer.
a condo together.
So this is how dope it is. Like, so the one that I went to is called Spring Mountain.
Yeah.
And basically everything Adam said is true. It's like you basically, if you're your car enthusiast, or if you say, cats usually start out the wrong way. They come in there with a Ferrari or some salt, because you're gonna mess up something. Because when you racing and pushing, if it's a really expensive car, everybody that's a real driver say, get a Miata.
Yeah.
Just get something regular that you can beat up, learn how to drive, and then get you the whatever, the Ferrari or the Lambo. But the rich ego guys come in there with their $400,000 car and tear the whole front off the thing, and then they got to go in the garage. So the funniest thing was, I went out with one driver, right? And you're not going to believe this. Adam might believe this. A lady outlapped us with a Miata.
Oh, really?
With a Ferrari. A 456 Ferrari got outlapped by a Miata. And it was crazy because I couldn't believe we couldn't catch this woman because she didn't have to break down. She was like, and the Ferrari's like, she was like,
What'd she sound like again? No, I think it's a 458 Ferrari.
458.
I think. I'm not a Ferrari expert, but
you could tell by the way he sounded.
People,
That's impressive.
It was crazy.
Michael Winslow.
The Ferrari. So the Miatas, people race the shit out of those cars.
But they say they're like the beater cars for guys that race, because those cars they're very low. And they handle actually really, really well. And their center of gravity is something about their center of gravity.
50-50 probably weight ratio front
and
to rear.
And so you don't have to brake as much, and you can take more chances. Meanwhile, you might have a $350,000 car that should typically handle it. But if you're not a super pro driver, you can't do what she can do.
Yeah. There's a whole Mazda series. People run a spec series, they call it, and they race the shit out of those cars.
Have you ever driven the new Corvette yet?
No, I've not driven the new Corvette
You should
yet.
try that. You should try the new Corvette. They handle very, very well. And then also, too, that Blackwing. That CT5.
Yeah, the Cadillac.
Yeah, believe it or not, like, it's a very powerful car.
Everything. So what people don't really understand is how drivable cars are at the kind of performance they have, which is to say, when you're talking about, you got your Acura in 91.
92, yeah.
92, probably built in 91. Anyway, let's not drill down too hard. But that thing had 187 horsepower or something. The cars you're talking about have 500-600 horsepower.
It's unbelievable.
They're quiet. The air conditioning works.
Everything.
They handle like
the radio.
It is a crazy time to be an enthusiast. There's so many, and then you got all the electric cars that are 0 to 60
in 2 point.
Yes.
I couldn't believe this, right? There's a Tesla, I think it's like called
the Plaid.
Is that what it is?
I was just talking to a friend of mine
it makes no sense.
0 to 60 in like 1.9 seconds or something. That's super car.
Your face off.
Gina, that has to be a Spaceballs reference, right? They've gone to plaid.
Plaid, that's right.
Why else would they call it plaid?
Thank you,
makes no
Brian.
sense.
They've gone plaid.
Yeah.
It's a Tesla Plaid. Yeah,
That's
He's
good
not
call,
making it
Brian.
up, bro. It's absolutely
It must be
a rocket ship.
that.
Yeah, at
Find
one
that.
point they go so
They're so
the spaceship
fast.
goes so fast it leaves like a plaid.
Yep.
Like
They've gone plaid.
yeah, they've gone to plaid.
That's great.
I never showed you guys,
Good
Chris.
call.
You can find it. There's a crazy fan car
Can you look it up on here so I can see
I
what it
can
looks
try.
that went up the hill at Goodwood that set the record. It's all electric. So the fastest cars are going to be electric. And
because there's no shifting. That's the thing about it.
and it's instant torque.
It's the fastest one I was in was like, I think it was called a P85 or something, Tesla, and my driver had just had it, and I said, "Man, what's the deal with this car?" He said, "Can I show you?" and I'm on my way to LAX, and all of a sudden I couldn't get my head. I couldn't get my head off the headrest.
Oh my God!
It was it was like being in a jet. But it was instant. That's the thing about these cars right here. They just go
instant torque.
Now, how do they handle?
I guess. I mean, they don't have an advantage per se on handling, because it's neither here nor there, and they weigh a lot because the batteries weigh a lot.
Heavy.
There's this McMurtry car. So I've been to Goodwood. I've done the hill climb a couple of times. I think this is a new hypercar that's all electric, but it has a fan that sucks the air from under it and sucks it to the ground. And
oh my God.
As though to keep it on the ground?
And it set the Goodwood Hill climb record with 37 and a half seconds or something.
Oh my God.
It's all electric. It's not sped up. This is real time.
Oh my God. Oh, that was crazy. Oh shit.
Wow.
And it beat all the supercars that had the V12 engines in it. I know.
This is insane.
And it's not even the thing that's crazy to it about me. Not only the velocity, it's the way it's gripping. You don't hear any.
Right.
It's just.
It's so. What it does is it sucks all the air out from under the car. It has rubber side skirts that go down to the ground and creates a suction cup. So it's stuck to the ground.
Genius.
So normally the way you do it is you put a big wing on the car and then the air goes over the wing and pushes the car down. This, they've decided, let's just suck it out of the back.
Suck it out.
Now, that thing went up that hill in 39 seconds, which is a record. And they have super race cars go up. F1 cars and stuff that can't touch it.
That's insane.
Crazy technology.
That's the thing about technology. There is no comparison to electrical torque versus an American-made muscle car. And then there's a difference between that and an exotic, like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or Aston Martin or, any of these sort of cars that are deemed to be, even Porsche, right, are deemed to be these amazing sports racing cars. They can't even, they can't even think of it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's like a new sport. It's like they're in a totally different arena.
Yeah, now, obviously, there's not a real practical application for that car. Well, first things first, if you're behind it, it just shoots. It's like someone with 5 leaf blowers just blowing shit all over.
So is that fair? If you're behind that car and it's blowing you backwards.
Yeah.
So you can't even race with it. That
James
just must
Bond
be
car.
You cheating. That's like a James Bond car.
They used to say it blew his doors off, but now they mean it, man. So, yeah, that's the new world order. And it also, I always think about it this way, too. We're living in a time where somebody's able to get up Lord Goodwood's driveway in 39 seconds because they've harnessed fans and technology and downforce and physics and everything. And then 100 miles that way, we got human smugglers bringing human beings over the border in semi-trucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we're throwing acid in the eyes of young girls who are trying to read in another nation. And then another place is throwing gay guys off a roof because of their sexual proclivities. This is all happening simultaneously.
As a wise man once said, what year is it?
I say that all the time. We have the Hubble telescope that's taking pictures
John Webb.
Of galaxies that burnt out 2 billion years ago. And we got people loading up into hollowed out shipping containers and we're pushing them across a river.
Yeah, we live.
A lot of range in this time.
It's a lot of range. You just hope that you're on the right channel in your life where you don't have to go through it so bad. Whenever you're going through your life and you think about a tough time, you can't envision somebody else's life being worse. But it is. There's levels to this. There's levels to grief. There's levels to happiness. There's levels to success. You know what I'm saying? And it's levels to misfortune.
Well, I'm going to say to my son, look, boy, There's always going to be someone going up a hill in a fan car setting a record. That ain't going to be you. And there's going to be someone packed into a container going across the Rio Grande, and that ain't going to be you either. So just enjoy the middle.
Enjoy your middle. I like
middle.
that.
Yes.
Enjoy your middle because it's crazy.
Yes.
Oh, man, I'm going to keep that. Enjoy your middle. That is so gangster. Oh, my God. Like, there's going to be Miss America, and then there's going to be hoes.
Yeah. Wait, I'll use that. No, I wouldn't use that with my son. Oh, there's a distinct possibility you may be with. Yeah, okay, I'll work that one out. But the middle, that's where you're going to be. So get used to it.
Work your middle. That's your next book.
Work your middle.
Yes, man.
I like that.
I like, bro. It came out so naturally. Work your middle. It says what it is.
So you got shows, by the way. I should give a plug. Live dates coming up. Caroline's on Broadway. It's great club. Ontario Improv, October 14th through the 16th as well. Are you in LA full time? And you travel?
I live here in LA. How far out will this air?
Tomorrow.
24 hours.
Oh, it's 24 hours. Yeah, I'm going to be at the Toyota Center too. I'll be on August 27th. I'm going to be at the Toyota Center in Houston. I got things popping right now, baby. Don't be slipping on my dates. I got stuff going on. You feel me?
Cousins with Shaq. I forgot about that.
You know what? People be acting like I'm cousins with him and he not cousins with me.
That's a good point.
Like it only go one way.
That's right.
Just because he bigger than me, he just bigger.
You're right. You're right. He is cousins with you.
And lately, he is in the news for just
everything.
Well, he is Santa Claus. He'll come in and I'm going to buy everyone's dinner. This guy is putting a layaway for his wedding ring. I do this all the time. I'm going to pick that up for you. He's like the nicest guy on the planet.
He gives back so many times that people don't even know about. But
sure.
He's always been like that. That's why he's so fortunate, in my opinion. He's always been a outgoing, loving person, big personality. I never forget, man. I said, I don't know if I want to be this famous, right? So when I was coming up on MTV, he just got drafted into the NBA. He was playing for the Orlando Magic, right? He's down in Orlando. Right. He's the big deal. We go to Disney World. Why would I go to Disney World with the biggest man alive and think it's going to be a good time?
Right.
You would have thought he was Mickey Mouse.
Right.
We're walking around. Kids are running up to him, hanging on him. Oh, my God. Can I take a picture? Like, don't I look like a little child?
Oh, that's another thing, too. What is his age? Is Shaq early?
He's 43.
Oh, he's still that young?
Yeah.
All right, so
maybe 44 now.
You go to what's supposed to be a happy place.
I don't even fit by his elbow.
Right.
Now he's gotten a little bigger now because he's been training now. I don't know if he's going to be a wrestler because he was a genie, but we talked about don't be the genie.
Shaq is 50, by the way.
He's got to be older than that.
Well, in our house, because I have a stepson and my husband, everyone's into basketball, the phrase "don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk" comes up a lot. Yes. And that's a Shaq rap lyric.
Did you spend time with him when you were younger?
Yeah. Well, he was in Newark, where I'm from. They were there for quite some time, and then they moved to Texas and stuff like that. When he went to college, and I went to college, I was, at Rutgers when he was, coming up, and they had moved. I mean, they moved around because, his stepdad was in the military. Mm-hmm. So they was bouncing around and stuff. And so then we got reacquainted and kind of like, kind of lost the gap there, doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. But then when he went to Orlando, that was a big deal. Coming out of LSU, he was making a lot of noise, and everybody was like, yo, Shaq going to the league. Like, that was the thing. Like, everybody was like, yo, Shaq is going, and he going big. And so when he, got into the NBA and everything, he was like, cuz you doing big too. You coming up, we representing. And so I was on Def Comedy Jam in 91, 92. He was, coming into the league. It just worked out perfect, And so we did commercials together. I did comedy stuff with him. He came on different shows with me. Like, we've always found a way to kind of like make it blend, He
could end up being like one of the most interesting Americans of all time at some point when you really step back
if you
and sort
just
of
think
look
about
at
for
him.
a guy his size, how he has been able to stay relevant all this time.
How about his just business
his
ventures?
business? He's always been curious about business.
He's a sheriff.
He's a sheriff. He's a business owner of he has his own like chicken franchise now. He endorses about 8 to 10 products simultaneously. You need your back fixed. I said, if you want to go on a cruise, go on the cruise with Princess Line. You want some insurance? See the general. You want an air fryer? Shack it up.
It's crazy what I mean.
He's just printing money.
I know we talk about a lot of billionaires. He's got to be getting there.
He's climbing. I think he ain't far off. He might need one more business venture, and that's it. And it's a wrap. Because I think LeBron is right there.
I mean, it's reported. Now we know take this with a grain of salt always, but this is about $400 million.
I bet he's doing even better than that.
I'm just saying, that ain't no chump change. That's all right.
No, I know, but he's got to catch a Kardashian any day now.
Yeah, he's saying any day now.
Man.
Is the whole family considered billionaires or only 2? Is Kylie the one that's considered the billionaire, right?
Well, that's,
I guess.
And in terms of that, I heard Shaq say in an interview, like, I have to remind my kids, you're not rich. I'm rich. And I love his like very down-to-earth parenting style.
Yeah, I think we both come from that kind of background, where it's, we've been very fortunate to do what we love to do and make money, probably more than we probably dreamed of doing what we love to do. But at the same time, we worked hard for it, and you deserve it that way. If I gave it to you, like if I gave my kids everything, they would want for nothing and lose their dreams and their their tenacity. So I had to purposely no, don't do that.
With your kids.
Yeah, you have to. You can't just give them everything, man. I remember in the beginning when we were buying them all these brand new fly clothes and they had to pack. Oh my God. My wife was like, oh, he has to have the best crib. Oh, he don't even care.
In some countries,
I
they
slept
sleep in
on
a drawer.
sofa.
Yeah.
No,
I slept in a drawer.
Americans.
A dresser.
Yeah. Americans, between cribs and dog beds, we overpay.
It's too much.
That fucking, you buy a $189 fleece lined dog bed and you see the dog laying on a towel next to the goddamn thing. Yeah, you're right. Kids and dogs don't know.
Yeah, it's like you overindulge, and then sometimes you just gotta look at yourself and go, "Wait a minute, I'm bugging, right? I'm bugging. Like, we don't need that." But my kids would say to me, "Daddy, why do you say no?" I said, "Because I can."
Oh, I like that.
They're like, "Daddy, you can get that from me." I'm like, "But I'm not."
Yeah,
No,
that's the
gotta
conundrum, because my parents, and probably your parents too, they just hide behind like, hey, I'd love to get you a new Schwinn bicycle, but that costs $89 and we don't have it. Like, and they were off the hook.
You want to eat or you want to bike.
Yeah,
you're right.
They always do something that's so like perilous to you. Yeah. So you want to be alive, or you want to ride a damn bike.
And how old are your kids?
15 and 18.
Oh, well, right in the wheelhouse of his twins.
Where you at?
I got 16-year-old twins who don't give a shit about getting their driver's licenses. And I was like, you got to get a driver's license. They're like, well, we'll see. And I'm like, I can't wrap my mind around it.
But here's the crazy part. I have to correct myself. My son just turned 16, right? He has his learner's permit, right?
Yeah.
He, unlike my daughter, every day my daughter is like, Daddy, can I drive? Daddy, can I drive? Daddy, can I drive? My son don't even care.
That's how my kids are. What happened?
Because I'm Uber.
Yeah, what happened?
My wife is Uber. It's like, yo, why don't you want to get your hours? Oh, it's different.
No need to.
It's different, but I wonder, it is.
I wonder why boys don't want to. I would have wanted my car immediately at 15 and a half. If I was able to get a car I would want one. Just for my independence.
Well, my theory is we wanted to get away, and they don't want to get away. They like their house.
We have a self-selecting sample of rich kids. I mean,
Yes.
I think there's a lot of kids who want their license, if you know what I mean.
Yes. And I'm saying.
See, that's what it is. Their lifestyle, they're not running from anything necessarily like we were. Like, I was hauling ass. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, when I got my license, they never saw me again.
Yeah.
Except for holidays. Like, I remember I would come home from college and my mom's like, when I'm going to see you again? Spring.
Right. Yeah, they don't want to get out like we wanted to get out.
I wanted to get out of the hood so bad. I don't know. Where did you grow up, Adam?
I grew up out here. And
it sounded like you was having black people problems. Didn't it sound like you was having black people problems?
Is that what it's called?
We had we were like welfare and food stamping
you
problems.
was having black people problems.
Yeah, I hung out with the Boyd brothers who had black people problems.
Right, you kind of know
football team.
Like Dave Chappelle. Like, the funny thing about Dave is Dave didn't grow up poor like that, right? And it's so funny because you would think that Dave did, like, initially. Like, you'd be like, man, Dave must have came from the hood. But I never forget when he was like, man, I'm just going to say this. I'm privileged. My mom, dad, educators.
Oh, my God.
That's a hell of a Chappelle.
It's like Dave doesn't do any hood jokes at all. Think about it.
No,
he
it's
doesn't
true.
know that.
No,
he came from a very, very educated background. He came from politically active kind of parents. That's why his humor is a certain way. It's so intelligent because he's well versed, bro. It's like, but people don't give him credit for that. They just think, but they don't really peep where all that information came from his parents and his lifestyle.
He's from D.C., right?
Yeah, it's true. Like, he doesn't do.
Think about it. You
stuff.
never, ever heard him say, like, poverty. Man, it was crazy growing up poor.
And I do a lot of, like, white people be napping. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to work my angle.
Right.
Yeah, well, see, the thing about black and poor is at least you got some stories. White and poor is just kind of, we hung out, we did nothing.
Yeah,
we didn't have any colorful stories.
This is the craziest thing, right? Because people all assume that, mostly only black people are poor. But this is America, right? There's poor everywhere. But it depends on who's talking about it, right? Because think about this. I just recently saw Elvis's movie. I don't know if you're a big Elvis fan. I'm an extreme big Elvis fan or whatever. But the thing that I didn't realize most about Elvis' family was he was actually not well-to-do at all. And so when they were on really, really hard times, they lived in the black part of Memphis in a like low income housing, something. So Elvis was surrounded by people that was in the same condition as his family. And I was like, that is so crazy. And he still made it. See, that's what that poverty do to your ass. You got to get out.
It does put a little fire.
Don't it give you a little bit?
In your belly.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Or some people just get angry and never stop blaming it. But
no, you
that's
gotta,
not the way to go.
Like with my kids, I try to do like bonus systems and like increments of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like with my son, I'm like, you can't think you're going to have that if you don't get this done.
Yeah.
You can't. It's impossible. It's not even going. Don't even ask me. So you got to draw lines with your kids. The twins. Which one is it? Twins, right?
Yeah, boy, girl.
Both of y'all. If y'all don't have your license together by X, I'm cutting all of this off. I bet you they get ready. What?
Yeah.
You heard what Daddy said? Was he serious? I thought he was talking to Bill Bellamy. Bill Bellamy said, Daddy, shutting the lights off in here.
They're like, Shaq.
And next thing you know, you're going to be like, oh, those my kids driving. Hey, Daddy.
Shaq is Bill Bellamy's cousins. You know that?
Yeah, like it's only one way.
All right. Bill's going to hang out. We'll take a quick break. We'll do the news right after this. Bill, you were talking off there about a book.
Yeah. So during COVID, while everybody was kind of like, oh my God, what are we going to do during this pandemic? I was working with my writer and just going over my life. And so my book will be out April of 2023. I got my date. I'm going to be an author like you.
Can you pre-order a book that far out?
You might be able to. They said they do that now. People can pre-order your book, which I didn't know about. And then I got to go in and do the audiobook. That's dope. You got to do your
How many
voice.
pages is it?
Right now, I think it's about 425 or something.
Wow,
like that.
that's substantial.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, because it's like my book is about my life, coming up, what I went to, boom, boom, boom. And then it cuts
I don't wanna
to
break-
opportunities.
I don't want to step on this, but I wrote my book about your life.
Oh, God, this is awkward.
From the right perspective. So really quick, and then I go through all those MTV moments too that people didn't know about, all that inside stuff. Like the Kurt Cobains, the Janet Jackson, the Prince stories, Michael Jackson,
Were you both
Madonna.
were you on MTV at the same time, or you were after Adam?
I think we did. We crossed paths.
What years were you on MTV?
I was on MTV from 92 to 98.
Oh, yeah. I was there 97, 98. I probably was there right after.
What show were you? What were you hosting?
I was on Loveline.
There you go. Yeah, of course.
But
you were doing yours here, right?
Yeah, we're out here.
See, I was doing mine in New York, but I did remember bumping into you a couple times when we came out here to do Beach MTV.
You got a Kurt Cobain story?
Yeah, man.
You know what's weird about Nirvana?
How do you never met Kurt Cobain?
No, I was.
Man.
He died right
my
before he got
Kurt
famous.
Cobain story was I know right when he died because that's right when I showed up at K Rock and nobody played more Nirvana than K Rock, and Kurt Cobain dying was like the phones never stopped ringing. He must have been April 94 or March 94 was right around
April.
April
I'm
94.
pretty sure.
All right, when I showed
How did you
up
know
at
that? How did you know
I was
K-Rock.
I was in high school.
April
It was a big
5th,
deal,
94.
Whoa.
It was a landmark day for young guys.
Yeah, so I showed up at K Rock right then, and so I never met him, but you did.
Yeah, I interviewed him on MTV, and Courtney was there.
Oh, boy.
And it was so interesting. One of the just real quick, like a memory of it was that he was so low key, and he was such a big deal to everybody but himself. Like it was so crazy because they was like, Kurt's coming in today, and where everyone's running around skipping. He's Sky. Sky is the heartbeat of grunge. He is the heartbeat of Seattle. He is Nirvana, blah, blah, blah. He came in, bro. He might have had on some old Chucks, some that grease, like you know how you just change your oil and wipe your hand on your leg. He just had on
if you
some
can
old,
find the dipstick.
Yeah.
That became a whole look, a whole ethos.
Yeah, the grandma sweater.
He just looks so
Goodwill
plain,
thrift
like
store.
he got everything from a thrift store. And I'm like, dude, you famous? Like they need to dress him better.
How was Courtney?
She was doing a lot of talking.
I imagine. Yeah.
You can see that.
You know what's weird is you walk around, speaking of the kids, I see my daughter, so many young people, they're wearing Nirvana shirts now.
Oh, really?
They've had this crazy renaissance. If you look around for young people, the T-shirts have come back.
I don't want to be Gran Torino, but I would love any teenager in that shirt to name me 3 songs. Not 10,
they
just
couldn't.
3.
No, my daughter can name 128 Kanye West songs.
Yeah.
0 Nirvana
got me
songs.
there.
Give me money.
So also, I'm now an expert on Kanye because I drive.
I know, that's
with
all
her
you listen to.
Yeah.
Oh man, their music is so different. I never forget my daughter one time. This was when One Direction was on fire. I don't know if you had a daughter that it was 13 or 12 when One Direction was out.
thankfully not.
There was no words to compare the frenzy that was going on in the posters in the room with these boys.
That was like the old school New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, it goes in cycles,
my
in
daughter
sync, right?
She said this with confidence, Daddy, do you know that One Direction is the best boy band ever? I said, what?
Have you ever heard of Boyz
Are
II Men?
you crazy? New Edition?
Jackson 5?
The Beatles? Like, you better do your research, baby. She jumped off the ledge with that, Adam. I almost crashed my car. One Direction? You don't even talk about them no more.
You know what I was
still talking about the
I was
Beatles.
thinking about with cars too, though. Like cars are so goddamn safe now that you want your kids to get their license and take. When we were driving the old beaters, no airbags, no crumple zones, would you want your daughter breaking down all over
you'd fret.
town?
The commercial was, the dad fretting.
I remember back in the day, you got to get your baby a Volvo.
That's
tanks.
right.
They can run into another tank and still go to the store.
That's right. That sounds
Remember
like your dad.
that's because it's got a cage in it.
Yeah,
that's old school people say. Man, make
Cage
sure
is
your baby. That's a new first car. My daddy said, get her a Volvo. She can hit anything.
Yeah. They were the first safe car. Cage is just like a roll cage.
Like a roll cage.
Yeah,
Like something about, but now all the cars got airbags and this, that, and the other. Like my boy's son totaled the car. I say, how's your son? Oh, he's fine. It's got 82 airbags.
Right.
He was sitting in the middle. Poop, 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 poop.
That's right. All right, Gina,
All right,
story.
let's do a couple stories. Well, Brittney Griner is back in the courtroom as her defense lawyers, Russian court defense lawyers, presented more evidence to support their argument that she brought the cannabis oil into the country by accident. Griner was led into the courtroom holding up a photo of her wife, Sherelle, and appeared to be in good health. The defense team presented negative drug tests and called the expert to testify that the medical marijuana use is very common here in the U.S. Many athletes, including Griner, are prescribed it. Her lawyers insist that she packed her bags in a rush. She didn't notice there was cannabis oil cartridges. If convicted, she could face up to 10 years in prison. And we talked about how they are trying to speed this along and just give us the guilty verdict so we can appeal and make this a Biden issue.
So a couple of things. People are wondering about the strategy of showing a picture of your wife in a place that's not really doesn't take kindly to
on board
same-sex marriages. Yeah. So that was kind of curious. Obviously, everything. If you talk to Mark Garagos, when it comes to getting into the court, everything's worked out. How you dress,
right.
He might tell you shave that beard or whatever it is. It's all appearance.
Wear a blue suit.
Right.
Why would you bring? They're thinking about there's a strategy, but why the picture? It seems interesting.
I mean, from a naive angle, you think, oh, yeah, it makes you look human. There's somebody waiting for you. But yeah, I mean, they're not down.
Why not bring a picture of Bill Bellamy crying, weeping, and just go, my husband, Shaq's cousin? He's sitting at home.
It makes sense.
He's worried sick. That's him with the kids.
He wants to come pick you up in a Volvo.
For the Miami Sharks.
Yeah,
he's an athlete too.
That's right. He's an athlete. He uses cannabis oil when Oliver Stone yells at him.
Can you make this make sense to me? Cannabis oil is that illegal? There's nothing it's not many things you can do with it.
Well, but that's...
It's not like bringing a big bag
Absolutely
of
not.
weed.
There's not even an intent to sell. It's just her little thing. But remember, we're thinking of that now. 10 years ago, we were all clutching our pearls over shit like this.
Not oil.
Yeah, maybe not.
I'm going to ask you an ignorant question. In Russia, is she getting a jury trial, or is it some panel of judges?
I don't know how it works.
Because maybe if it's jury, it's the rank and file could be sympathetic.
Why is it that she's still over there like that, over oil? I don't get it. I just realized that there was what's his name? The rapper who slapped somebody.
Chris Brown?
No, the guy that Trump got out.
Trump got him out.
It was
was it ASAP Rocky?
ASAP Rocky.
Yeah.
Right? Was it ASAP?
In Sweden,
I didn't know he even went to jail for that. I thought there was some altercation or whatever. Some fan did something crazy. I don't know if he actually slapped somebody.
But Sweden doesn't need him as a bargaining chip, and Russia needs one of our people we desperately want back as a bargaining chip.
So if that's the case, why go to trial and let's just barter?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
If that's what it is,
let's cut the charade.
We'll give you her if you give us two of the other people.
Yeah, the problem with our country is we have terrorists and people have killed and mass murders and stuff, and then they want to trade us basketball players.
Yeah, we have warlords
who had a couple drops of fucking weed oil. It's
but I bet you, Putin or somebody was like, I tell you what we want. Give us back all our super yachts.
We want our yachts back.
Because I think Biden did something crazy, seized all those super yachts.
Yeah. They were bummed about that.
We should trade them yachts.
Give them a yacht.
We're living this horrible position where we're trading people who kill people, who may kill more people. and it's not a fucking fair trade.
No.
It's not going to be even money.
We should start collecting folks from around the world that were sort of petty offenders. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, just we get some Russian guy, what happened? He didn't pick up his dog shit.
Fake
And
checks.
this is the USA.
Yeah. It's like a
And we're not going to
pathetic
tolerate
Suicide
this
Squad.
shit. And we'll have someone to trade back. Because we're trading back like arsonists and stuff, and we're getting basketball players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guarantee you, because obviously we don't know all the people that we may have here. I bet you it's like you said. I bet you it's some heavyweight cats we got over here, like kind of pinned down in what they call it, Guantanamo Bay or something. Somebody's sitting over there.
They said, or it's speculated, who they want.
Victor Boat.
Some architect of
He was
mass
the one that
death.
Nick Cage played in that movie.
Oh, yeah,
Lord
the
of War.
arms dealer.
Yeah.
They
Lord
want
of
him
War.
free.
They wanted him for another guy. They wouldn't even give it. They wouldn't give us Brittney back for him. Another
Yeah.
free Brittney T-shirt if you have it
Yeah.
from before.
Oh, yeah,
put it back
recycle that
on.
shit.
What? See, you be thinking.
Yeah.
She be thinking. She's like, you got to say that T-shirt and say. But here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to push the envelope here. Let's pretend that it was a white athlete, like one of our Olympic swimmers.
Well, if it's Megan Rapinoe, they can keep that bitch. Fucking, she could die in a Soviet gulag.
my.
No, what
Fuck
if it was
her.
like Mark Spitz from back in the day? Like, give me somebody that was like
Well, look,
Olympic
just as-
royalty.
Hold on.
Bruce Jenner.
Bill.
Bruce Jenner.
Let me intervene here. The fact that we can't come up with a decent white athlete means you've won, my friend. Your culture and race has won.
Let's see.
We
Who's
can't
the
think
other
of
guy?
I'm just
John
saying.
Stockton, the main team.
I'm just
Ron Say.
Christian Laettner.
What's Ron Say up
Come
there?
on, we got a lot of
We
producers.
can't even
here.
hustle up
Give
a decent
me,
white.
Lenny
Give me
Kranzelberg.
one white Olympic guy that we would have to
Michael
go get.
Phelps.
Yes.
The torpedo.
Yeah.
No, we need a woman. We need a woman.
Yeah, we need
Yeah, I know,
sympathy.
no.
We need a
Natalie
white-
Coughlin.
Thank you.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, okay.
Seemed too obvious.
You mean to tell me there's not one white
Mary Lou
female?
Retton.
Mary Lou
Mary
Retton.
Lou, we going to
Okay.
get married.
Mary
We
Lou
gotta
Retton.
go
Nick
get-
Mosiano. Shit.
Mary Lou coming back on the first
Yeah.
day. Anybody
Oh, yeah.
named Mary Lou? You
Yeah.
got to go get Mary
We
Lou.
would barter. We would
Oh, my
immediately
God.
would send in the troops.
Nadia Comaneci.
No.
No, she was not American. It has to be.
She's
it would have
Romanian.
to be a quintessential kind of white girl.
That's Mary Lou.
Like
Mary
Mary
Lou.
Lou. Like you gotta go get somebody named Mary
We
Lou.
get Dorothy
Yeah.
Hamill. I mean, Canadian, but you don't say anything about it.
Yeah, Mary Lou's the one.
But everyone's saying like, oh, if this was LeBron or Kobe back in the day, whatever, this wouldn't be happening. But like,
it
I
wouldn't.
also think like we're dealing with really fucking crazy people. Like whoever it is, and if they're even more important to us, they're going to be even harder to get back.
And plus, it's I'm not politically inclined to this level, but I'm just giving you the blue collar version of it. What I see is that the politics outweigh anything that makes sense.
Yep.
Where the Russian government is just bombing on the Ukraine like that every day. No one can make it make sense why they're doing that. Like, okay, they just out of nowhere, they just start bombing people, this, that, and the other. Then everyone's posturing. No one wants to appear to be weak, right?
Yeah.
So it's politics is unfortunately wrong place, wrong time too.
I will say this on a sort of happy note with her situation. Whenever she gets out of there, she's got a big fat book deal waiting. She's got a movie waiting.
She better be right.
She's got the whole lecture circuit.
Yes.
I mean,
She'll be the most famous WNBA athlete of all
she
time.
is, WNBA.
Would she be considered a prisoner of war?
I don't know, but what do you
Kinda.
make in WNBA? $275K
Political
a
prisoner.
year?
Not enough. She had to go do
Political
basketball in Russia.
Right,
That's why she's
right.
there.
So she's not getting paid.
Right.
She's gonna get a payday.
That
So
is
she was
true.
all right. So she was technically over there at that time playing ball, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't she have dual citizenship? No.
I think
Sure,
probably
it's
a work visa.
my guess.
Yeah, that's a guess. Did you see the footage of this pastor that got robbed on his live stream sermon?
Yes.
Okay, we got to talk about this. He's really flashy Brooklyn pastor.
Oh, super flashy.
Oh my! Do you know who he is?
No, I've seen him on my Instagram.
He's known for wearing like designer outfits and extravagant jewelry, and he was robbed along with his wife while he was preaching at the church. I'll show you in a second.
Oh, at the church.
Yeah. Police, and it was live streamed.
In the name of Jesus.
That's right. Police say they received a report that 3 people entered the Leaders of Tomorrow Church Sunday with firearms and removed the jewelry from Pastor Lamore Miller Whitehead, who goes by Bishop, and his wife. They were both wearing. The investigation's ongoing. Part of the reported incident was captured on the video from inside the church. This is about as much as you can get because a lot of it was scrubbed. Here's the moment the thieves come in. He's in the middle of what he's doing, and then you're going to hear him immediately interviewed afterwards.
Many of you have lost your faith because you saw somebody else die what you about to go through. Yo, all right.
He's on the floor.
I seen 3 to 4 men come in. That's all right.
Talking about dying.
It's pretty much stating that I'm not going to do anything, right? Because I know y'all coming for me. Y'all coming straight to me. I don't want my parishioners hurt, right? I got women and children there. As I got down, one went to my wife and took all her jewelry and had the gun in front of my 8-month-old baby's face.
So they got the jewelry outside of him, inside the shirt. One dude is just sitting there.
Who is that dude?
Stoic. I have no idea. They took more than $1 million in jewelry from him and his wife.
Well, we were talking about Kurt Cobain.
Yeah!
He's worth a lot of money, but he's showing up in his
you wouldn't know it.
Kids in his greasy pants for a reason, you see?
This reeks of like B-story, okay? I can give you the like ghetto forensics of the situation.
Please.
Please do.
Okay, first and foremost, this guy is a street cat that has become a pastor. Cool. Just because you are now working in the church doesn't mean some of the things you did back in the day would not travel towards you. Okay? Cool. He's going on. He's flashy. Boom, 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 bing, bam, ba, boom, boom. Cat's just like, oh, I can go get that. I'm going to go. You know what? You ain't calling me back. All right.
Yeah, I know where to find you. You're
I know where you at. I know where the church is. He knew exactly. That's why he said, okay.
Yeah.
And
He knows what's going on.
also, if you're spreading the good word, why do you got $1 million worth of jewelry on you?
He did a little like Zoom interview with somebody, and I heard him be like, there's a lot of talk about the things that I do and don't like to purchase. And this is the kind of stuff I like to purchase. Like, why is everyone getting mad at me? So
I'm just saying, in LA, they're telling you, hey, if you got a Rolex, put it in your pocket, and all that stuff. In this day and age, with
it's
all
not a
that's
great
going
idea.
on
You gotta
out
lock
the
This is not
streets.
the time to be flaunting your opulence to people. When, especially in LA, where now a home invasion is just a misdemeanor. I don't know who in the hell thought that was a good idea to knock it down to a misdemeanor. Somebody can run up in your house and take everything, and they're just gonna get a little tap. Oh man, put the ceiling fan back.
You steal my ceiling fan. I'm getting my
Can you
gun
put
out.
my ceiling fan back?
Yeah, I can't do it. I can do without a watch. I can't do without a ceiling
In this
fan.
day and age, like you said, though, of all of disharmony, racial strife, and whatever, this is where the white pastor and the black pastor overlap.
Oh,
This
they really
sort of
come together.
Display of opulent wealth. It manifests itself as jewelry amongst
jets,
certain
the jewelry.
communities, but the airplanes and just nonsense.
Yeah,
that's
because
amongst
these
the-
guys, oh man, sometimes there are good pastors, and there's people that really, really want to help the people, and then there's people that are entertainers, and sometimes they take advantage of the people, and they know it's a tax-free situation and it's a business. You feel me? And then when they start flaunting all that stuff, people feel some type of way. Just think about it. It's like, what?
Bill, maybe we're part of the problem because we've just done 10 minutes on the guy who was the victim. We haven't said shit about who's robbing. Who walks into a church with a gun?
No, we don't know. I've never seen that before. I've never seen people come into church during the service and rob the pastor.
Have you been in church a lot?
Yeah. I would like to say I've been to church a lot in my life, and I have never even heard of nothing like this. That happens to people in a pool hall.
Yes. I know. Pool
yeah,
halls probably.
Reggie. You thought I wasn't going to find you, Reggie. Whoa, now. Whoa! Whoa!
Yeah, the shit used to go down in pool halls. Now it's probably one of the safest places you can be.
It's quaint.
Family friendly.
Yeah.
But now it happening in the church because you used to be in the pool hall, and you think now because you put on the thing, the gown.
I will bet you, if you went back to 1968 and compared the amount of fights that took place in pool halls versus commercial airliners, you would be 0 and 89% of all fighting takes place in pool halls.
Yes, over
I think
money.
commercial flights and I think airports have taken over pool halls for fucking brawls.
I think you're right.
And Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm
People
are up
fighting in different places
3,000%.
because they don't want to go to the pool hall, so now all their anger is transferred to airlines.
And also people watch their mouth in a pool hall because everyone's holding a fucking stick.
Yeah, everyone's got a weapon.
Everyone's holding something.
Yeah. Can I tell you some funny shit? Can I say shit? Okay,
Yes,
sorry, I
by
said
all
it
means.
already. I was at Top Golf recently, right?
Oh, it's so fun.
It is so fun. But I'm like, whose idea was it to give a bunch of drunk people golf clubs?
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to let's put liquor and golf clubs together?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A lot of high sticking.
Yeah.
And it's very competitive. Mm-hmm. If you get in there and y'all drinking and y'all talking, it could get weird. I can see it going left at Top Golf.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, now they have drive-thrus in Louisiana that serve you beer and mixed drinks and hurricanes and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
We're there now.
No, but they put tape on it so it's safe. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right.
Speaking of fast food and drive-thrus and fights, I got to do one more story.
All right.
So we've talked about people relieving themselves at the Tim Hortons and throwing it at the people at the counter. We've seen people break into drive-through windows. We've seen...
That's what we call white-collar crime.
We've seen
That's
people
one of us.
destroy cash registers because they had to pay for fry sauce. We've seen it all.
That's on your side, Bill.
We got that.
You got that. All right.
There's another one.
Yeah.
Now you tell me.
Yeah!
Yeah.
You tell me where we are racially, or don't. With
Where
this.
were we?
Okay. 2 women in Dallas are suing a Taco Bell for $1 million over the way they handled this complaint. So Brittney Davis and her niece say they placed a $31 order at the drive-thru. They didn't get everything they ordered. They claimed they had to drive back a few more times. They complained, correct the order. They still didn't, so they went inside. They parked the car, walked inside to speak to the manager. Manager not really having it. Things went a little crazy. Well, asking to correct their order, and as you'll see by the surveillance footage, it looks like they may have scooched behind the counter. Davis claims a worker challenged her niece to a fight, and the manager came up with a pitcher of boiling water and threw it at them, splashing them in the face and the chest. The 2 of them ran out, and I can show you. Then it says here that the workers allegedly clapped and laughed. Hard to tell from the video. The Dallas police are investigating this. Meanwhile, Taco Bell, pretty silent on the issue. Here's a snippet, and you'll just have to sort of watch the security footage. There's no audio. So she's coming. Oh, somebody just went around. She grabs something, and you see this big splash.
Wow.
Oh!
Yeah.
Boiling hot steam. They run out.
Wow.
Now the workers are coming around the counter, maybe with a phone, whatever.
How do you spend $31 at a Taco Bell?
That was my question.
You got to buy like 700 tacos.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow.
That might be hot grease.
Yeah.
Oh, more hot
It looks
water.
like it's from the dishwasher or something.
Yeah. So here's the. Would anyone I'd say this about people like we shut down some 7-Elevens because people are getting shot behind the counter stuff. Could you imagine working at a Taco Bell in this free for all of a country we're living in now, where any fucking nutty, morbidly obese, screw loose could just come over the top of the
perceived
counter?
slight manifests itself as a physical altercation.
That's crazy about lately is that everyone's got just the short fuse.
Yeah.
And women,
everybody's like spazzing.
Listen, the great Dave Chappelle said, "Women be shopping, women be fighting now."
Yeah, they do.
What would that sound like, Dave?
All of them. He was. I gotta get his voice.
Okay, get his voice.
Wait, I gotta think of it. Okay. Man, I'm just gonna say this. Yeah, okay. I'm privileged.
There it is.
No, he was. Man, these ladies, they're fighting, man.
They are. They used to be shopping.
They're fighting.
They were shopping and now they're fighting.
Back
And
in
that's
the day-
right. You know, fighting is up 50% because half the population didn't fight. They were called chicks. Now chicks are throwing down everywhere.
My security friends are saying it's just bananas how many girls are fighting now. Everywhere. They unloading. You got to understand, people been pent up for 2 years. They want to give somebody their smoke.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even like they're taunting someone so their man will beat them up. They'll fucking take care of it. Always.
But think about that just from a statistical standpoint.
What?
Historically, never had to worry about half the population putting their hands on each other. It was pretty much, look, we got to focus on young men, this demographic, this age. Those are the people who put their hands on each other. Now, everyone, all the time, nothing's off the table. That's a lot more fights to break up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd be
so we're there.
surprised how many people have cut me off in the car recently. Like, I just wow, everybody's so aggro.
Yeah.
But you cut me off to be right there. Like,
What'd
not
you
even
get out
all
of
the
it?
way up there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah,
Right there.
I love it when you end up at the same red light. Oh, that's the best.
And
Why won't they look at you?
Oh, it's because they're too ashamed.
if you live closer,
I'm staring through the glass.
you'll
roll
be
the window.
home before them. Yeah, I know.
Oh, before we wrap, there's yet another update on Tony Dow.
Wow.
They're really coming in real time here. This is from
He's
CNN.
Wally from Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah,
What
first
happened?
we reported that he died, and then halfway through
What?
the show he's alive. And from Washington Post, now CNN says actor Tony Dow is in hospice.
Oh, fake
His management
news.
team removed the previous statement that he died. So
Oh.
we're on Dow watch, and I will keep you posted.
Please. All right, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Thank you,
Listen,
Gina. You're going to be Miss America,
Yeah.
and then there's going to be hoes.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
All right. Last but not least, there's the Jordan Harbinger Show, a different kind of sponsor for this episode, the Jordan Harbinger Show. If you're a fan of fascinating, we love Jordan. If you like interesting podcasts, you should definitely check out the Jordan Harbinger Show. Yeah? Yeah. Jordan's a good dude. He's been on my show. I've been on his show. He's done on me and Dr. Drew's show, right? Yeah. Jordan will talk to Scott Adams about persuasion in a world where facts don't matter. Yeah. Or you can go inside the dark world of wildlife trafficking. You'll always find something useful. Yeah, something
Bill's
useful in your life.
enthusiast.
Bill loves the Jordan Harbinger Show.
it.
And you can enjoy the show as well. Search the Jordan Harbinger Show at HARB as in boy, IN as in Nancy, GER, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to finer podcasts. Yeah! Yeah. Bill's special, I Want My Life Back, available. Amazon Prime, and the book's coming out. See if you can pre-order it. April 22. So
23.
April 23.
23, yeah. The 22 would be difficult.
Top billing with Bill Bellamy.
April 23. All right, Bill, come back whenever you like. Plug the book or hang out.
I like hanging.
Or just hang out and
Yeah,
have
you're
a
my
good
guy,
time.
man. You're a good dude, man.
Thank
Get
you,
those
Bill.
kids driving. Get those kids
I'm
driving.
getting them driving. I'm getting them driving. Salt Lake City, I'm going to be there. Wise Guys Comedy Club coming up August 26th, 27th. Go to AdamCarolla.com and check out my new book, Everything Reminds Me of Something. Till next time, it's Adam Carolla. For Richard Roeper and Bill Bellamy and Gina Grad and Paul Bryan. Saying mahalo. Oh, yeah, they have, it's a fire hazard, which
Makes
is
sense.
if you don't clean your fire flue out every, 5 years, it could burst into flames if a spark goes up.
Oh, shit.
I got news from Mike Bishop.
You would not get your deposit back on the Santa outfit if you ran it through that filthy
There's a lot of
chimney.
holes in this
A lot
story.
of holes.